and welcome to another Rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. For today's Rambling review, we're talking about Despicable Me 4. Despicable Me 4 is the fourth film featuring Gru, the supervillain turned kind of anti-hero / hero, and it is the sixth film featuring the Minions, those lovable little yellow creatures that serve and live with Gru. Now, the basic plot line of the film is that Gru's a former acquaintance of his, a classmate from his villain school, the school he went to study villainy. He turned against him, he captured him, and as a result, that villain, his name is Maxime Demal, I believe, he swears vengeance against Gru, and he has a plan. He escapes from prison, and he wants to capture Gru's young son, Gru Jr. That's right, in this film, of course, it was in all the trailers, but the biggest addition to the cast here is Gru Jr. He is the biological son of Gru and his wife Lucy, in addition to their three adopted daughters, Margot, Edith, and Agnes. And that's kind of the general plot line. There's a subplot following, there's actually kind of a couple of subplots that kind of tie end up in the end to the main story. One subplot is about the Minions, because Gru and his family, they're taken by the Anti-Villain League into secret hiding. Basically, they are given new identities, and they have to live in a different town until Maxime is caught. And while they're gone, the Minions go to work at the headquarters of the Anti-Villain League, and they take over headquarters pretty much. For the most part, they run the place. And then 5 of them are selected, and they're turned into Mega Minions. And each of these 5 Mega Minions have different superpowers. One's really stretchy, another one can fly, another one is kind of like the Thing, except he's really round and he eats all the time. One has a laser eye, similar to Cyclops, and one is just really, really strong. Those are the Mega Minions, and they end up tying into the story later on. The other subplot involves Gru and the daughter of his next door neighbor in this secret community they're living in. Her name is Poppy. Poppy has always wanted to be a supervillain, and Gru in many ways has been her idol. And when they move in next door, she knows who he is. She threatens to blackmail him if he doesn't help her with pulling off a heist. And so he ends up agreeing to do it, and they go on this heist together. In some ways, that was one of my favorite parts of the film, because it shows Gru. There's been criticism about this movie about how Gru's character has changed, and it has changed somewhat. They make him into being a lot more awkward than he was in the previous 3 films. Gru, he never really was awkward. He was different, but he was quite confident of himself, and he wasn't really awkward, but they make him to be really awkward here in this film. He just, kind of very much of an introvert, very much very shy, bashful, not knowing how to act around people and so forth. Anyway, the section with him and Poppy when they're on their heist, it shows that even though Gru's character has changed somewhat, he still has the skills that made him a supervillain. He ends up using a bag of baby items to pull off this high-stakes heist. Overall, I really enjoyed the film myself. I found it really entertaining. There's a lot of laughs. There's a lot of humor on different levels. I mean, there's a couple of poop jokes in there and all. The very lowest brow of humor, and there's somewhat of a highbrow level too of humor in there as well. There are references in this movie to all sorts of other different films. 3 things that come to mind where this film alludes to. There is a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang reference. There is a reference, an allusion to the Terminator movies. There's actually at one point the Terminator music, the theme song from Terminator plays. And there's, of course, there's some Harry Potter references in this film as well. Now the film, it's nothing like extraordinary. It's not breaking any new ground. It doesn't do a whole lot of character development. I would say that probably the biggest flaw of this film is that the cast of characters is growing so big that it's hard to keep track of who everyone is now. The movie mostly focuses upon Gru and Gru Jr. and their relationship, and at the heart of the movie it's about family, particularly Gru and his young son. His son doesn't seem to have the affection for Gru as he does for his mother, and Gru is trying to change that through the course of the movie. And despite, not being shown that affection from his son, he still does not give up, and he still loves his son very much. Very positive thing. Would I watch this movie again? Yes, I would watch it in a theater. I would go, friends to see it, or whether or family. I don't have to watch it at home in the background. It's this entertaining movie. It's a nice way to spend about 90 minutes. And it's kind of a mind candy film, but not in a bad way. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this a 5.5. I enjoyed it. I found it very entertaining and very humorous. This has been another rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. Until next time, that's a wrap.